Do you have a tough time getting lead and rhythm guitars to work together in a mix? In this clip, Sam breaks down his processing on getting the lead octaves in Silverstein's Burn It Down to sit perfectly in the mix and add to the large guitar tone. You will see the breakdown of Sam's big lead trick that created depth and ear candy heard in the chorus. Enjoy.
Leads on this, I wonder what I used. I think it was my Kemper, actually. I don't know if this was actually... Real good chance that's a Kemper lead, but I would also probably just use like any amp sim because they're octavey. I ended up selling my Kemper after that STL plugin came out because I used so many STL tones that they were all just built into there, and I had more flexibility. Do not miss my Kemper. So these are really boxy. And with any boxy guitar that's kind of sitting in the background. I wanted to take care of problems. Yeah, so I'm getting rid of this top end fuzz right away. Chorus 24. Just design it without that, everybody who's making plugins. I'm kidding. I'm sure it's there for a reason. Leads to me don't need nearly as much sort of like, if they're high in the register especially, they don't need low end. Like why? It's just kind of mudding stuff up at the end of the day. So I'm like taking out a decent amount at a sort of wide cue of this like rumbly business. And I guess I found that to be a little offensive later on too. Whenever you see little moves like this, there's a good chance that like I went back and tried to solve a quick little problem, like something's bothering me. And I probably wanted that brighter. I bet you when we pull this up, ding ding ding. Even more roll off. Why would I do that? That is useless. The SSL afterwards, whenever you see it on stuff like guitars or like you saw on the guitar bus, is like, cool, I got everything I wanted. This isn't bright enough. It's not poking out in the mix. I grab that and I just touch 8K right away and boom, you get what you want. Like that makes such a difference in terms of making those guitars all of a sudden pop out. And like you can go more, like that's me going more now on that 8K and I'm loving it just as much. It's funny because like clearly what you're doing here is a volume boost at a specific frequency. So really my ears are being tricked by it just being turned up. I'm also just turning up something I'm enjoying hearing out of the guitar. I'm gonna go back to those STLs actually over the Fortin, just because I'm feeling a little scoopy in the Fortin and I'm kind of digging the STLs right now. So this lead track, there's a real good chance these palms are the exact same tone. I probably just track them separately on account of letting this sort of like slide out. And I like slop on guitars and things like that is what separates, like, you know, people are like, okay, you're not using amps, but like you've got a real sound at the end of the day. It's like, well, it's just embellishment is what gives that organic vibe at the end of the day. You've got this like, I think what I did was, it might have actually been a different tone, but it was just nice and bright. So I probably just did a bit of cleanup. And it literally looks like I copied the EQ setting over. I did. Yeah, the reason the roll-off's different is because I changed it just now, but that's the same EQ setting. These I might have even comped them together in another life or like printed them down so the overlap happens at the same time. Maybe not, because I definitely have these leads with this extra SSL kick in. I mean, guitar-wise, this song is sort of dead simple. What comes after these? Basically, what comes after these rhythm tracks? This fuzz. This fuzz is, you know, the huge deal. What comes after all these moves is basically just production decisions. Like, we'll check out the other guitar tones in a sec. Like, that's just there to almost be an extra rhythm. It's just tracked on the lead track because, you know, why not? So we've got this big lead here, big lead chew. This was a mono guitar. Oh, I wish I had the original thing to show you how this was done, but it was basically like a mono guitar that was then run through like a 2 different altar boys at different pitches and a stereoizer, and then a boatload of distortion coming from that little altar boy, because the little altar boy's got its own distortion kicked in. And I even like it with even more. Why not? Actually, I'll kill it for now. Yeah, 1 pitch down, 1 pitched up, down the middle, giving it this sort of like a voice. It's the vocal in that part. So I wanted to treat it differently than just a guitar doing something. You know, a guitar could have played that lead, but it wasn't supposed to be a guitar. It's supposed to be an expression. So yeah, a lot of correction-y moves. You can hear right away when I bring this EQ in. We're getting, this goes back to like frequencies that are offending. Like, we're getting kind of an offending frequency, but I'm using it to its advantage by having it in there for the lead to poke out. Like, you would cut that out. I think anybody on the planet would sort of cycle through while doing their, like, you know, run-of-the-mill cleanup and get rid of that. But what probably happened was I was mixing the guitar and I was finding that I wasn't getting the attack I wanted. So I went deeper into the tone and kind of pulled this out. Got rid of the super annoying fuzz on the top. Even though I kind of want some of it, it does build up really fast. 24. I was less crazy cutting out low end on this track because like I said, it was like when you EQ a vocal or something, you want a bit of boominess happening. You want a bit of like feel in it. It's supposed to sort of hit. I look like I did the EQ thing again here. I literally looked like I just copied this over from the lead track. One thing I really liked about this was this leads, like I said, this lead, in my opinion, is a vocal. I noticed it in a few mixes, not in many of the like submitted ones. I wanted to hear this guy like pop out with the vocal when it kicked in, because it's supposed to kind of be like I've got it up by like about a half dB or so, just a couple points, but just enough to be like, hey, what's up? Pay attention to me for a second. It was like, it's important to sort of like lean into the production aspects of things. Okay, what else is going on in these leads? Before I get to the effecty leads. So I built this around the bridge tone just being this really simple octave, cleaned up. I boosted a frequency in it, like nothing special per se that I wouldn't normally do. This is supposed to play with the bees that I've got here with the Valhalla room. It's just supposed to sort of give glue to the fact that this thing pans back and forth. So it's not in there loud. It's in there almost as like a little bit of a taste. It's there also to be different than the beginning. You listen to the beginning of the song. You've got it moving back and forth, and that's designed in a production way to do that. But when the bridge comes in, I didn't want your brain to be so distracted. I wanted you to focus a little bit, and then I still wanted the movement in the background. So I've got this one mono one just going through here. And I wanted the bees brighter. I want everything bright all the time. Bunch of AK, here we go. So I did this after the Valhalla. Normally I would do things like this before, but back to like I was saying with how this guitar here is designed to live with this guitar is designed to live with this Valhalla. So this reverb here is existing just to be a room for this guitar. And I treated all that together, and I really did nothing to it. All I did was just boost it up a little bit. Chances are this just had like an auto pan on it, and I set it to the tempo of the song kind of slow. Yeah, nothing like really. And then the last guitar in this song right now is just this trem. And the way this trem was just, I don't even think I did anything to it. What you guys got was what I got. Or like what, I mean, not what I got, what I like gave you. And I just treated it with, you know, however I made it, which was probably just taking like a chord being played. I chopped it up and then I just put a doubler on it and a filter. And it's just there to pepper in as like movement in the back of the chorus.